So the idea for today's video started with a search for a good knot. I was going to teach you guys how to do the surgeon's knot. But in the process of my own research, I learned a thing or two about rope types. So today I'm going to show you how to tie the surgeon's knot, but we're going to look at it with a bunch of different rope types. And it'll work with some and not with others. You'll see why. So first of all, the knot itself. This is a knot that you tie around something. It's often used by surgeons, or was in days past, to tie off a blood vessel when performing surgery. So to show you just quick here, it's a lot like a square knot, but it has one extra turn. So first, the knot itself. I'll be tying it in paracord here. I've got a cardboard tube to tie it around. It starts just like a overhand knot, like you would tie in your shoelace before adding the bow. Then you want to add one extra turn in there. So bring one cord underneath one more time. Then tighten that down. And that should stay pretty tight on its own. Unlike that shoelace knot, or the single overhand knot, it won't loosen quite as fast. And then we want to complete the square knot, so we want to tie a mirror image of our original single overhand knot. So we want our right side cord in front, like it is on this bottom one, and then just one pass underneath and tie that tight. So that's the surgeon's knot, but as you can see in paracord here, it's not staying tight. Not only that, but if we pull on the cord, it loosens before locking down, which makes it pretty useless to bind anything if it's just going to loosen right away. So I was trying to figure out why this knot wasn't working, because it's one that's been used for years by surgeons during surgery. So there must be more to the story, right? So a lot of knots rely on friction to stay tied. Paracord is very slippery, and so a lot of the traditional knots that were used years and years ago in manila rope and cotton rope just don't hold together very well in slippery nylon rope. So I've got a couple other rope types with me here. I've got some cotton cord, some twine, I think it's Cecil or something like that, some Bonnie craft cord, and some hemp. So these ropes all have different textures. They range from pretty smooth to very coarse. I don't have any manila rope, which would have been what was used on ships back in the day, or I guess a hemp rope, bigger than this hemp here. So I'm going to just take some cotton cord that's not a whole lot more abrasive than paracord, but it squishes a lot better, and so we're going to be able to tie knots tighter. So let's try that same knot again, but with our cotton rope. Laying it underneath, we'll tie our double overhand and cinch it down. First of all, even at that stage, it stays tight a lot easier. Then when we add that next knot on top, and cinch that down, the whole knot locks into place really nicely. And if we try pulling this cord up from the cardboard, it doesn't pull because that knot is set really well. So far, the cotton rope definitely comes out ahead in how well it stays in this knot. Let's try the other cords. Let's try our hemp. This is a twisted hemp and not a braided hemp. It's just a single strand. So I suspect it's not going to be very tight when tying this knot. That being said, it is very abrasive and scratchy. Add the top part of our ligature knot. And that actually stays put pretty well, although there is some slippage when I pull on it. It came loose a little bit. So that's about what I expected out of this, because it's fairly smooth even though it's a natural fiber. All right, so this twine, I think that's going to stay put really well. that's actually slipping a little bit too, about like our hemp. I think it also helps that our cotton cord was a little bit stretchy, so it can really bind around that cardboard tube when we first tighten it. And I'm making a mess. All right, last one to try is our craft cord here. And this is going to be pretty similar to our cotton cord. This is a man-made fiber, but it is also a little bit stretchy. All right, getting tired of this knot. Pull that good and tight, and that holds really well. And on that second knot, it does pull loose a little bit too. Not as bad as the twine or hemp. So that's actually a fairly good knotting cord for things like macrame. So what does all that mean for you, the paracord crafter? When you're getting started just tying knots or making your first paracord projects, it's important to note that certain knots just don't work in certain kinds of cord. And if a knot isn't turning out the way you expect it to, the problem might not be the knot. It might not even be you. It might just be the kind of cord that you're using. I've noticed this before when I've tied square knots in paracord, trying to do macrame projects, and the square knots just don't stay tight. But if you're using cotton cord, like traditional macrame, it's going to stay tight a lot easier. So I hope this video was useful to you guys with our little show and tell of some different rope types. If you want to see us make tutorials with any one of these kinds of rope, let us know down in the comments. We love to hear your suggestions and get ideas from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.